The new CPI data for June is out, and the whole event pretty much went exactly as I had predicted last week. But gold didn't move much, silver didn't move much. However, one sector did have a big move, and there's a really important signal for gold, for silver, that we need to pay attention to. Let's jump right into it. Welcome to Hot Trades of the Day, your show for swing trading ideas for the coming days, weeks, and month. Welcome to Hot Trades of the Day. My name is Daniel Wilhelmi. Quick housekeeping to start the show. This weekend, new VIP newsletter video. We're going to talk about strategy, portfolio management, how to structure a portfolio in the commodity supercycle and mining stocks. Again, if you're not part of VIP newsletter, it's free. Link is in the comments. We won't spam you. Nothing like that. You get one video a month. It's going to be pure content, 100%. That is it. Second news of the day, second announcement. When I said that I would go to Rural Symposium, several of you wrote in the comments it would be great if we would get an interview with Rick Rule. Well, that's going to happen next week. I would assume so the video is on Wednesday, so I hope we have it out by the end of the week or the beginning of the week after. So that's going to be really exciting to talk to Rick here on the channel. I can already tell you the topic's going to be a little different than what you're used to from other Rick Rule interviews, but that's how we do things here on the channel. So with this, let's jump right into it. Here is the gold chart. Obviously, we got to start with the CPI for the month of June. It came in at 3.5. The market expectations was 3.8. So that wasn't, well, at least by the market, unexpected sharp decline in the inflation. Not only that, it's the first month-over-month drop in inflation since 2020. So that was a shocker for the market. Now, I talked about it last week on Friday in Friday's video. So we were ahead of the market on this. If not for the weird comments of Fed Governor Waller yesterday, on Monday, well, we had this perfectly. That's all we can do. We can just figure out what the facts are, and then sometimes crazy things just happen. So the bond market, after pricing in a 50-50 chance of a rate hike for July after the Waller comments, after the CPI data, immediately priced out a July rate hike. Okay, this is the crazy volatility. That's why we don't day trade. I don't want to know how many people lost their shirt today. The market now predicts one rate hike in 2026, 25 basis points. And interestingly enough, they're predicting this rate hike for September or October. I do not see this at all ahead of the midterm election in November. Afterwards, maybe. Before, President Trump's going to do absolutely everything in his power to avoid that from happening. So, CPI went down significantly, and gold jumped on the news, but as we see when we go to the hourly, which we usually don't do, but in this case we want to. But let me, turn off the 50 into 200 average. Here we go. So this makes it a little clearer. So here you see the jump. CPI comes out, whoop, we jump up. We go all the way to 4,100, but as you can see, we cannot defend it. And then interestingly enough, The second we fall below that 4,070 line, there's the big sell-off, right? So I don't know why not more people are talking about that 4,070 line, this line that we have had here for weeks now. And again, if you don't know what I'm talking about, hit the subscribe button. This line, clearly very important for the market. As we saw today, I don't know why nobody else talks about it. Not our problem. We have this line. So, okay. Now, on the positive side, we defended 4,000 pretty impressively. On the negative side, well, we couldn't hold 4,070 and we are drifting lower. You can clearly see we're making lower highs. There is just no momentum in gold right now. No buy-side momentum. Even after the CPI, which, well, took the scare of the rate hike off the table. But now I guess people are looking at it and saying like, well, then inflation is not a problem. Why do I need to buy gold? As I've said before, it's all about the narrative. And sometimes the narrative is just crazy. All we need to know and care about is there's no buy-side momentum in gold right now. That will change. You know the levels. We break the downtrend. That's level 1. And then the other one is obviously 4,215. Man, I can say that number in my sleep by now. What I do like a lot is this positive divergence in the RSI keeps getting stronger and stronger. Now, obviously, if we break below 4,000, it's toast. But if we don't, things get interesting. And there's one development that came out of the CPI that is very, very interesting. But first, let's look at silver because that's what I had promised before. And silver looks interesting. So to be completely honest, I don't remember if I had shown this downtrend channel before here or not, but let me zoom out for you so you see the full picture. So obviously you know this downtrend, obviously you know this uptrend. This is what started the rally in the fall of 2025, and obviously you know the long-term downtrend starting with a tariff chaos April 2025. I know this so well because I was at a mining forum Europe exactly on that day in 2025. And that was a wild one, but that gave you great buying opportunities in the mining stocks. Anyway, you can clearly see we formed a downward channel, right? Here and here and here. Confirmation 3 times on the downside, and then confirmation here, and then like a number of confirmations on the upside. So this thing is real. Again, I don't know why not more people are talking about it, but it's there. The interesting part is we've been trying to break out of it in the past days and really couldn't make it happen. But now we've reached this triangle within the downtrend of this important support zone, this horizontal line that you see out here at 57.50 and the downtrend. As you can see, we're trying to move out of it sideways. Now, I don't expect this to have a big impact on the silver price because, as I said before, not that many people have that downtrend channel figured out yet. But it is a good sign if we don't break down but move out of the downtrend. However, silver will not move if gold doesn't move. And here comes the interesting part. Here comes the real interesting development from the CPI Tuesday. And that is the dollar. Doesn't look that dramatic on the daily, but let me show you the hourly, the exact same chart that I showed you for gold. Whoop! Yeah. Some people got the flamethrower to the face when the CPI data came out, and the dollar, this is the Dixie, took a big dive. And if we go back to the daily, things are getting really interesting now. As you can see, we broke below the uptrend, this uptrend that has been in place since May, that had this whole up move here. All right. Now, on Tuesday, they bought the dollar back up to defend the uptrend. And we will see what happens today, but you can see in early Asian trading, there's going to be a fight for this uptrend. And if the uptrend breaks, that could be the move that all of a sudden gets all the buyers back into gold and then into silver that are standing on the sidelines not doing anything right now. See, the good thing about the move in gold and in silver is if we have no buying power, that means nobody's buying. So they're all standing on the sideline with their dry powder and waiting for things to happen. But if the dollar rolls over, all of a sudden, the logical traders go long. And nobody's prepared for that right now. We will see if it happens. In the past days, the dollar bulls have defended that uptrend significantly. And let me add the 50 and the 200 here. So you basically can see what's going to happen, because if we break below, we go into parity right away, which is not that far off, but it would be a significant reversal of this big time uptrend move that we have seen. It would also be a very bearish signal that, here we go, that we break this former resistance zone. And then remember how I was telling you in previous videos, if you missed those videos, hit the subscribe button. Price target 103, 104. We can't even get to 102. That is an interesting signal that shows us, there's not really significant strength and buying power in the dollar. Now, we're not there yet. But again, if you're asking yourself, when will gold go up? What will make gold move up? This is it. It's the dollar. That is it for today. We're going to talk tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye-bye.